First things first, a disclaimer. This video is going to be spoiler free. As we all know, the entire episode 9 has been leaked. Luckily, I've not come across any leaks for episode 9, and so I ask that nobody post any spoilers or hints of spoilers or fake spoilers or anything at all in the comments about episode 9. Spoiler free is the name of the game until the episode comes out for everyone on YouTube. First things first, let's talk about the sky. And I don't mean the moon and the sun, I mean the sky, the cloud HD wallpaper that somehow floats in the background of scenes. Like I said, I've been rewatching the episodes, and I'm pretty sure that those clouds are the desktop wallpaper of the computer. And I don't mean just any computer, it's on the computer that Kinger uses when he accidentally deletes Kane.
You got this?
I think so. Sure has been a while.
And we know that Kane's eyes are all over the circus. He has hundreds of all-seeing eyes on them at all times.
Where I can keep my hundreds of all-seeing eyes on you.
The eyes are in a lot of the photographs found around the circus, and in this one in particular, it's Kane's eyes with that same cloud desktop background. So it got me thinking, what if the eyes that we see around the circus aren't Kane's eyes, but rather the programmers at CNA? What if they're being watched? What if it's a TV show? Jax breaks the fourth wall all the time and refers to the audience as an actual audience.
I want to keep the mystery alive. What do you, the viewers, think it is?
Will you stop doing that?
He talks about feeding the machine.
We just end up falling into our archetypes, become part of the machine.
So maybe he's right, maybe it's not a gag and the circus is being broadcast as a TV show. Or maybe the programmers at CNA have been watching them this entire time. Kinda like the Truman Show. And could that be why Kinger goes into his pillow fort instead of his bedroom? To avoid the eyes that are watching? And is that why people that abstract turn into a blob with a bunch of eyes? Could it be because they're being watched? There's one thing when it comes to Kinger that has never sat right with me. And that's this particular jingle that plays during scenes with Kinger when he's having a lucid moment in his pillow fort. Listen to this.
Thank you, by the way. For this and, well, everything.
It's a butterfly. It can restore your health.
Did Kane mention that?
Oh, nah. I made it up.
What?
It has an eerie tone to it, right? Gooseworx knows how to convey feeling with music, and the song that plays during those two particular moments of the series have a deep sense of foreboding. To me, it comes across as Kinger knowing something that the rest of the cast and the audience doesn't know. And it also seems like whatever it is he knows isn't really something positive. So I truly think that Kinger is keeping a massive secret from the rest of the group. And can someone tell me why he was so locked in during episode 3? I know that some people have theorized in the past that perhaps Theodore Millenhall's story is Kinger's story from before the circus.
Things have gotten far worse than I could ever have imagined. My paranoia had driven me to the point where I was no longer the protector my wife and theoretical children needed. Jumping at every shadow, every noise, I ended up shooting the love of my life, mistaking her for the creature. It's ironic, isn't it? In my attempts to protect her, I ended up becoming the monster myself.
There's a moment in episode 3 when they're listening to the tapes that Pomni even looks at Kinger with a weird expression on her face as though she's recognizing that maybe these tapes are about him because my man is locked in. So what does Kinger know? Does this have to do with Queenie and perhaps his responsibility for her abstraction? Or does he know something about the fate of everyone in the circus that will only become clear in episode 9? I think it's also important to mention that the eyes of the angel creature, they're similar to Kinger's in the way that they're both cockeyed in the exact same way, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I also always thought that the line, my wife and theoretical children was super bizarre, and Kinger pretty much is the dad of the group. So is there some weird crossover between Mildenhall's story and whatever Kinger is not telling everyone else? Okay, this one is super weird, but when I went back and watched all 8 episodes, I noticed it multiple times. Have you guys noticed the balloon dog? It appears in the background of almost every episode, and usually when Jax is present. It's so odd. Is it just something stupid and silly that the animators threw in, kind of like an inside joke like the number 57? And why is it always in the background when Jax is on screen? Is this some nod to Kaufmo? Or is this a nod to the pop culture sculptures created by the famous artist Jeff Koons? Koons said that his balloon dog art symbolizes the human experience and that, like balloons, we inhale air, which I kind of love how weird that is. So I don't know, just something strange I noticed. The recycle theory. So this theory centers on how the digital world disposes of corrupted codes and mind wipes those corrupted characters. The idea is that when a character abstracts or they're deleted, they're not permanently deleted, instead that they're placed in a recycling bin, and their minds are recycled into new characters. An example, and one that I believe in, is that Pomni is a recycled version of Ribbit. As I've said before, there's some connection between Pomni and Ribbit, not just in their connection to Jax, but in their character design with the blush circles on their face. It could be why Pomni is so thrown off with her body in the pilot episode, because maybe part of her remembers being somebody else, and not just someone outside of the circus, but a character within the circus that we might see in episode 9. The recycle theory also brings up the idea that Kane is not permanently deleted. He was deleted, sure, but maybe he's actually in the recycling bin. And if that is true, then I wonder if episode 9 has part of it to do with the cast retrieving Kane from the recycling bin and possibly going into the cellar with the other abstracted characters. There is that weird bee wearing a top hat on the posters for the final act, episode 9, and a lot of people suspect that this is Kane. So possibly Kane isn't permanently deleted and he needs to come back in order to save the circus, and he comes back as a bee. Sounds crazy, but we've seen crazier. And we know that Kane likes to reuse NPCs. What's to say that he wouldn't reuse humans as well? October 15th. It's one of those dates that we've seen so many times. When we see Kinger go on the computer, we know that Scratch arrived in the circus on October 15th. Ragatha arrived on October 15th. Kinger arrived on October 15th. There's something strange about October 15th. And my thought is, what if the only way you get into the circus is on October 15th? Maybe there's something with the VR headset that it only has a connection to the circus on that date. Like the portal into that world is only open on October 15th. I don't have any proof to this at all. The only thing that I think makes this somewhat true is if you look at the flashbacks that Jax has in episode 7. When he's driving down the road, there's fallen leaves on the ground. So it's clearly autumn. And if those flashbacks have to do with him getting into the circus somehow, I think it's probable to suspect that that was also on October 15th. The word paraphernalia is actually first uttered in the pilot episode by Kane.
Welcome to the Amazing Digital Circus! My name is Kane. I'm your ringmaster, and I'm here to show you the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping, mind-bending paraphernalia you've ever laid your eyes upon! Isn't that right, Bubble?
He says it again in episode 5 during the intermission scene.
My name is Kane. I'm here to show you the mind-bending paraphernalia you've ever laid your eyes upon!
And then again we see the word paraphernalia when Kinger goes through the code in episode 8. So what in the world is this about? The definition of paraphernalia is pretty boring. It just means a collection of items, tools, or equipment that are used in different fields of activities, hobbies, or professions. But if you look closely at the computer when Kinger is trying to access the code, it says paraphernalia-engine.dat. I'm not a genius when it comes to code, but from what I can gather, a file that has the extension .dat is used for files that store specific information or data. So I'm wondering if paraphernalia-engine.dat may be used to store different items within the circus. I wonder if it's as accessible as this hypothetical recycling bin, and in addition to getting Cain back, they're going to have to access the paraphernalia file in order to get all the assets of the circus back so they can recreate something to live in. It's just weird because Kinger was trying to access it, and why? Of all the random theories I mentioned today, it does feel like the paraphernalia file, October 15th, the recycle theory, and Kinger knowing something is all connected. I just have no idea in what way. This very last one has bothered me since episode 3. Once the animation got better, I started to notice the reflection in each of the characters' eyes, and it's especially noticeable in episode 3 because of how dark the scene is. Their eyes are very reflective anyways, and they all have massive eyes, but what's weird is most of the time the reflection that you see is the same reflection that everyone has in their eyes, and it's almost like a window pane. And this doesn't just occur when they're in the actual vicinity of the circus. They still have that same window pane reflection in their eyes during all the adventures also. Even when Pomni and Kinger are in the basement of Mildenhall Manor, they still have the reflected window panes in their eyes. So I went back and I tried to figure out what this could possibly be, and the weirdest thing is there is a picture of this exact window pane. You can see it here when Pomni is going through the back rooms of the CNA building. That window pane is the exact reflection you see in their eyes. So I'm wondering, is this further proof that they're being recorded and the digital circus is being shown to an audience like the Truman Show? Because it looks like what's reflected in each of the characters' eyes is a window from within the CNA building. It kind of lends to the other theory I have that the void is the in-between. The in-between between the digital circus and CNA, the actual computer monitor they got sucked into. Which kind of also goes with the weird desktop sky picture. Their eyes reflect what can be seen in the CNA building. The sky in the background of the circus is the desktop of the computer. It's kind of intertwined. So there we have it, 7 random things that I noticed and wanted to point out before we dive into the final episode of the Amazing Digital Circus. I want to know what other strange things you guys have noticed that either myself or no one else has talked about, or maybe someone else has talked about it on a different channel and you want to bring it up. Love, love, love theories. I just don't love spoilers. So please remember in the comments below, don't spoil it for anyone else. Be kind to each other. We're so close to the end, you guys. I am so excited. So like I said, keep the comments spoiler free. Have an amazing day. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.